Sean.
Magnum.
Episode 5.
How do you say it in Spanish?
Uh,
Quinto. What's it? Cuatro.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Cinco.
And episode is, I don't even want to guess.
Episodio cinco.
Maybe.
That
sounds
I said it in
Japanese, right?
Cinco desu ka.
Feels pretty good to be back in the studio, dude.
Watashi wa namae wa Shondane desu. Joined with a Magnus Megagan deck.
Konnichiwa.
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 Konban-chan. That's like you're hammered.
I need a translator, dude.
If you're hammered in the evening, you would just walk up to somebody like, Konban-chan.
What does that mean?
This means good evening.
Good evening?
Yeah.
Shit.
But it's like in a loose...
Konnichiwa is good morning, right?
Yeah, you got... Oh, it was fine. Then, Ohio was good morning.
Ohio. Okay.
Konnichiwa, I believe, is hello. Ohio...
Oh, it's not even a greeting per se.
I think Konnichiwa might
Well, I
be,
guess that's a greeting.
I think Konnichiwa might be good afternoon.
I think it has a time
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah, I think that is Konnichiwa. Like, hey, good afternoon.
Yeah.
Konbanwan is good evening. Konban-chan is good evening, but you're saying it like an asshole.
You know what? I studied a lot of these greetings. I just, I'm not using them in practical day. Totally forgot all of them. All of them. Like, I did, like, numbers, greetings.
Yeah.
Just kind of basic stuff, just basic stuff, just to get by on the street if you're buying something or whatever. You can, oh, man, totally forgot everything.
So done.
You got to be in, like anything, like, with muscle memory, like, you just got to be in practice, right?
Combate.
Sure.
Actually, I was fucking with you. Actually means good luck.
Good luck.
Combate, Magnum-san.
Well, we all can use a little combate. Some people more than other folks.
I think right now, Dave needs some combate.
Yeah, he sure could use it. We know that he doesn't need it, but it'd make it easier for him now.
Yeah, at the moment, sight unseen, he looks like a guy who could use a wish right now.
Yeah,
wish right now.
So this is episode 5 right now. When we were in the studio last, we were talking about the very last thing was
the last thing we did was shot down Metal Gear Rex.
Right, Snake gets there's like an explosion because the whole system fails.
Yeah.
Snake gets blown back, basically knocked unconscious. He sees Liquid walking to him,
blows the whole room up.
And funny thing, the next scene is Liquid talking to Snake without some of his sneaking suit on. He took his gear away from him. Probably a good idea. Yeah. And he's his hands are tied up. But Liquid made the decision to carry Snake's unconscious body all the way up this Metal Gear. Are there actual the ladders you use to climb up it when initially you have to get to that control room? Mm-hmm. Are they removed, or you can still use ladders to climb up it?
I think they're gone. If he can't,
they should still have them for maintenance out in the field and shit.
I think the thing goes back down, okay. And then but I think the only thing he could do to make it easy is go up in those side rafters, those catwalks on the edges,
right,
and jump down maybe. If this thing is crashed in the corner of the room, right. If it's in the middle of the room, he's just using Metal Gear Rex's geometry to
It's just but he's climbing it with another human being.
Yeah.
That's
Fireman's
just
carry.
lifeless. Right, yeah, one of those. And also, which, we're going to talk about this in just a couple minutes. Mm-hmm. Also, he decides to, Merrell's in jail somewhere this whole time, wherever she is. She's kept somewhere. Maybe she's unconscious. I don't know, whatever. He somehow, he goes and gets her wherever the hell she is in the base, and he also decides to carry her up the top of Metal Gear, the head portion.
And he grabs a huge bomb and carries it up.
Yeah, really strange move on his part. He's nuts.
There's a lot of symbolism here. He enjoys that he's on top of Rex, it's his ruined dreams.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, my little plan shot, but I'm on top of this thing, and we're gonna fucking rumble.
Right.
He's like,
we're gonna go anyway. I don't need this thing operational.
There's a hue of fire in the room, and it's
Right. Yeah.
He's watching his ambitions be burned to the ground.
He the snake's sort of coming to.
Snake's coming to.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
And Liquid's like, "Hello, brother."
Right.
he's
brother.
He's Hulk Hogan. He's British Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. Except he says it in like the British accent. And what the Snake's still sort of out of it. This whole scene here.
Snake's waking up. He's like, "You're a nut."
Yeah, it's gonna be a hand-to-hand fight coming up. But this whole scene is. It's not really a conversation. Snake's just kind of listening and Liquid say all this bullshit. Yeah. All this stuff that he's like obsessed with, right? He has like a mental problem. He's just over concerned about. He's over concerned about all this stuff.
I think this is a man on a mission. This is a man with ambition.
Oh, no doubt.
Genius and insanity are often, they're gauged by success or failure.
Yeah. Isn't there like a really, really thin line with these types of people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, if you're successful, you're a fucking genius, right?
Right.
If you try something and it fails, you're just another fucking hobo sleeping on the subway. Oh yeah, this fucking guy mumbling about his plans. You know what I mean? You
know what's funny about that? The person who succeeds, you know how many times they
failed 1,000 times.
Yeah. Not always. Like some people just get really lucky or whatever. But usually they fail a whole billion times. So like, why would society look at someone who failed? Because usually all the people that succeed, that's what you go through first.
Yep.
In general, right? In general, kind of deal.
Most people live lives checkered neither by victory or defeat, but just a gray mediocrity. So they have no clue that, I know a lot of fucking people like this. They have no clue that the success and failure are checkered together. That you have to fail and try and do another thing.
They're like they're one. They're kind of need one to obtain the other one in general, right?
Yeah.
I keep saying that because sometimes someone starts up something that does really good at something from the get-go and it just happens to do really well. That happens sometimes, but it's rare.
I think most people start off, there's failure somewhere. Life is trial and error.
Right.
So whether your failure happens during your educational years, and so it just doesn't show up as as an entrepreneurial pursuit. Mm-hmm. So you just fail, you fail fast and you failed early. So that like a guy like Bezos, right?
Oh, wow.
He had a decent career before Amazon. He quit that, started Amazon right off the bat. Mm-hmm. Took a couple years, but he made it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I did take a few years, but I mean, he did him and his wife, they did relatively good up front, in general.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think what happened with him was everything he needed to learn, he learned in school. He failed in school all the time. Not that he failed, but he learned what not to do in the simulation of an educational center.
Right.
So that by the time he came out and, started taking swings, maybe as Amazon, he probably failed a bunch of times in Amazon too. I think he did. There's a bunch of things like that. But they were so minuscule. They weren't like tragic. They didn't kill the stock price.
Right.
Yeah.
It was just a hurdle to go over, something to learn from.
Yeah.
Right.
I think either Benjamin Franklin or Thomas Edison said that.
One of them cats.
He said, if you show me a guy who's failed 1,000 times, I think I haven't failed 1,000 times. I've just found 1,000 routes to success that do not work.
Right. Yeah. I think it was Edison when they were questioning him about. There was like everyone always says who created the light bulb, but there was a lot of people that created different parts of the light bulb. Yeah. Right. People. What he's really attributed to is getting the right material, the right filament that can have that energy coursing through it without it burning out like right away. Right. Yeah. It could be for a while. Right.
They were prototyping it.
Right, and he so some asshole, some real goof reporter was like, "Oh, I heard you failed." I like how you said it because it could be applied to anything, the way. But from what I gather, some reporter said, "Hey, I heard you failed like 2,000 times in finding the right material and how to do this with the filament." He's like, "No, I didn't fail at all." He's like, I found out and worked hard on 2,000 different ways how not to make a light bulb. Yeah. And in science and engineering, that's really, really, really good to find out all the stuff that didn't work. So you can catalog that and say, hey, this is the stuff not to use. Yeah. Don't use this material for this. This will happen. It saves time and money in the future. It's really good to go through all this stuff, right?
Yeah. People misunderstand genius. They think that good ideas and a brilliant mind just come out of nowhere and just start kicking ass. You know what I mean? Just Mayweather, 50-0, just perfect victory. And it's like, nah, we're all as dumb as each other, like humans. We're all dopes. We're apes. And so we're
apes with rocket ships and smartphones.
Yeah.
We're apes, yeah.
We have to, by the process of trial and error, figure out what works and what doesn't. Some people catch on quicker than others. Some people...
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Some people are willing to accept, you know what I mean, what is and over what isn't quicker.
Right.
Some people want to reinvent the wheel or they stay stuck on some kind of thing. And some people are just like, all right, that doesn't work. They think about it for half a second, and then they go to the next thing.
On to the next, right.
People stay stuck on an idea. Don't really work.
I spend a lot of time on energy on, you know.
I've certainly done that. I kind of...
That's good and bad.
I get that. Yeah.
I think most of the time as just normal human life, right? The normal natural flow of things.
Yeah.
You're gonna either go like, well, that's just like kind of an insanity, and nothing's gonna come of it.
Yeah.
But then again, look at everything like we have. Just a lot of stuff has came from the quote insane people that didn't want to give up, and kept with it, kept with their theory, kept with whatever they're trying to make, whatever invention they're trying to do, and now we have like. Open heart surgery, open brain surgery, rockets, cell phones, internet, you know what I mean? It's good and bad. Most of that stuff won't work out, but like the ones that do, well thank goodness they didn't give up. Thank goodness for folks like, them, Yeah,
1,000 people work on the same thing, and they're all kind of a part of the one guy that's successful at it and massively thrust us forward.
Right, yeah, big giant leap forward every now and then. That's what really, really helps out.
Because Edison doesn't just work on his things in a vacuum, right? He's looking at other books and notes, and he's talking to people, and they're all sharing information. You know what I mean? It's all
and he's having an elevated sight of the situation because he's standing on the shoulders of giants. And not just that concept. That's a little different. What I'm trying to say is, the more information you have of something, the better view. Well, I guess that fits what I just said. The better view you have of the whole system, right? Yeah. The more intel you can get from all aspects of it, you can see what works and what doesn't. From looking at all of it. So you want as much as you could possibly get your hands on, whatever discipline you're trying to learn or trying to figure out or engineer or whatever.
I mean, a bunch of ants will, gather a leaf from the ground and drag it into the anthill for them all to eat. It's not the ant in the lead that discovered the leaf, and you know what I mean? It's a teamwork.
Yeah, they're all carrying it. Right. Yeah.
Just because the boss gets all the, or the guy that's in charge there gets all the glory. Hey, don't forget about the people that put in the fucking hard work. You know what?
That leaf there's other variables, and it may or may not require other things, but basically, that leaf is not going to get to where it gets to unless a team carries it. And or it's not also going to get to where it's going unless someone finds it. So without either one of those factors, the leaf ain't getting there. Both are important. You definitely, you got to have two things.
Guys got to find it.
Right.
Team's got to move it. Somebody's got to have the idea. Hey, let's bring this whole thing back.
Right. Hey guys, we can carry this back. Right?
Don't dice it into.
Can you imagine them trying to figure out how many they need? I mean, I guess they just bombard it with as many.
I see it like everyone might take their own chunk and just bite and just bring that home.
On the way to the journey, maybe? On the way to the hill?
Like they get to the leaf.
They get to the leaf,
all of them, let's say they all just immediately bite a piece off and leave with that.
Oh, and not carry it. Okay.
Yeah. Now some guy comes around, hey guys, don't eat just your portion and bring your portion back.
Right.
Let's all lift it closer to the base. Boom. Now we're all eating.
Right.
Whole team's eating.
Right.
Brilliant.
And all right, so we were starting to talk about
genius, insanity. Yeah.
What liquid is? What? How does liquid start in this thing? What is he talking about? He talks about a lot of shit.
Yeah. He talks about a few things.
Yeah.
First thing he starts off is like, it's like, hey motherfucker, it's just you and me. You know what I mean? Like it's just what's up. You know? It's just,
right. And it really is. That's it. It's just them.
He finally got him in where he wants him in the palm of his hand. He's like, It's time to do this. It's time to settle. He has a lifelong beef.
He wants to fight him. Yeah, he could have killed him, but
he hates Dave. By the way, what is Liquid's name? They say it in Metal Gear Solid 5.
His name's Eli.
Eli.
Yeah.
So it's
Eli and David.
It's Eli and Dave.
Yeah.
Fucking Eli can't stand Dave. He's mad at him.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, now it's time to fight. Here's the stakes. They're dropping a nuke on this site soon, so we're all fucked.
Yeah, it's going to be a surface piercing. You know, it's going to.
Yeah.
That facility won't hold. It's going to crack. It's going to get through.
B2s are swinging through. They're going to hit hard. Merrell's over there. Your girlfriend's over there. There's a bomb next to her head.
Yeah, on top of Metal Gear, where Liquid and Snake are talking here.
So it's like, you got to beat me first. We're going to have a fair fight. And then, hey, whoever wins, loses. All fair, right? That's all I can do. That's the setting. Now I think he discusses Les Enfants Terribles project, right?
Yeah.
So he tells him.
Which is the Terrible Children project.
The Terrible Children. So he says back in the 70s.
Yeah, that's what it was.
He tells him, hey, look, we took the cells of Big Boss, right? We cloned them.
It was right after his, I guess, his coma. Is that when they did it?
I think, yeah. Wait, let me think.
Because in Ground Zeroes, there was that explosion. He immediately goes into a coma for like 9 years.
That's true. Yeah, so he keeps him there.
So somewhere in between when that happened, and someone had to go in there and get blood somehow.
Yeah.
Someone crept in there and, somehow.
Someone stole his juices.
Yep. Oh, yep.
So they grab cells. They assemble clones of them. There's 8 embryos. They take a chick. She donates eggs. They shove the embryos in another chick. As it grows, they chop out. What they say is they chop out 6. I guess it was really 5, or there was 9 embryos to account for solidus.
Right. Well, wasn't there initially there were 8 octuplets?
Yeah,
that's what Liquid says. Yeah.
There's octuplets.
They get rid of 5 of them so they can encourage strong fetal growth for the 3.
Yeah, and he said 6 at the time. They reveal later that there was a 5th.
Did he say 6?
Yeah, because he says octuplets.
Because there was only...
Yeah, they cut out 6. Because at this point, we don't know about solidus.
Oh, yeah, this is... Right, okay.
Yeah, so he's like...
He's not part of the game yet. Okay.
Yeah,
right.
so he's like, all right, cut out 6.
Right.
This is you and me. And then they stole my cool genes and put them in the U and left me with all the shit genes. They you know what I mean?
So he thinks, right?
Yeah. So that's how he put it. And he's like, I'm so mad about that shit. And... on top of the demands for Big Boss's body are not just for Liquid, it's for the Genome soldiers.
Yeah.
They themselves are all
they're all like getting sick and or dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all just clones. They're also clones of Big Boss, right?
Yeah, well with gene therapy. Not, from birth.
Oh.
Right. They were able to do it with they're not anything to do with they basically had gene therapy. So, they were able to, I guess, alter some of the genes to mimic soldier genes. Even if it's not like Big Boss's genes, but they all do sort of like a lot of them are getting sick because of Fox die.
Yeah.
But it's still sort of a new program, right?
Yeah.
Not all the bugs are kinked out of there, but they have enough genetic material that's similar that's causing some sort of problem.
I see.
That's what's going on. Yeah.
That's when we get into Gulf War syndrome in the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Gulf War syndrome is not It's not from depleted uranium and
right. In Metal Gear, it's what was it exactly? The
gene therapy.
Gene therapy was making everybody sick.
Yeah, it's like CRISPR. What we have now, CRISPR. Like it's this brute force kind of changing of your DNA.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like sort of that, and
I'm familiar with. Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
So, just to add in the Gulf War. They thought initially the American soldiers thought they were getting chemical warfare.
Yeah,
secretly put on them or exploded in the atmosphere over them or whatever. Apparently, some of their uranium rounds, you have to deplete uranium of the radiation or a certain amount of it to be considered safe around people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the story is some of those rounds weren't depleted enough, and they were basically it was radiation poisoning. Nobody was doing anything. Yeah. That's the official. Yeah,
I wonder who the contractor.
That's the official word on that.
Yeah, I wonder who the contractor was on that.
In
real life, like it wasn't Halliburton, Raytheon. I wonder who manufactured those.
Oh, who actually made the uranium? Well, they either did that themselves or they got some other second party to deplete the uranium for them.
Yeah,
and which is like they
That's an interesting independent law thing.
Oh, I don't know who. I don't know. Somebody's responsible for it. Hopefully they found out who did it because it got a lot of people really sick.
I think old Donnie might have to hit up Wikipedia tonight and find out. Might have to go to the dark web and ask questions.
Go straight to the dark web. Skip Wiki. Wiki's good.
Let's get put on a watch list.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's, Or wait till Friday. That's the day to be put on the watch list. Absolutely.
Wait for black helicopters.
Friday, black helicopters.
Fly over Pencil.
Yeah, OD Green.
Pencil. Yeah, I love my whole thing in Pennsauken. It's like it's the base of the Don, and it's like this fucking I'm the mayor of the city. Like
this is not just the city, Mother Base right here.
Yeah, this is Mother Base. Don's enfants 30.
Dans enfants de l'île. When you walk by soldiers in Mother Base in Metal Gear 5. For people who aren't familiar with Mother Bases, it's like your base of operations. Yeah. And you can build on it, right? You can customize it. When you walk by certain soldiers and you don't do it yet or whatever, or maybe even later on in the game, they're like, hey, boss, why don't you extend the base? Build up on the base. Sean, that's what you need to do. Like upward, outward, and you can go subterranean. You can have all kinds of like compounds. I mean, you could technically. I mean,
I could set up little I want like cat tubes, like cat tunnels.
Oh yeah.
I just want to I just want to slink down into the kitchen.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
I do
find some cool way to get all the way to the top, like a pulley system. You just hold on to. Yeah, I do.
I do have some plans to harden perimeter defenses.
Oh,
I plan to eventually build a kiln out back so we can craft swords.
Does that have anything to do with smoke grenades or?
Yeah, we need
or stun grenades.
The engineering department's in the garage.
Yeah. R&D's working on it.
Yeah, R&D. It's my mom.
Right.
She's getting shit done around here.
R&D.
R&D.
Hey, Mom, we need the.
It's a 50-minute timer. It's just her doing a.
We need the flashbangs to be brighter and louder.
Yeah,
what we need.
Yeah, she's like flashbang.
I'll get right on that.
What are you doing in my house? Yeah. I feel like a kiln is.
What are you doing in my house?
I feel like we do the kiln, right?
Right.
And that has its own purposes.
Uh-huh.
We built a stage out back for troop morale.
Right.
I can perform. I can sing for them.
Oh shit.
And then I want to, okay. So those are two kind of ideas. Yeah. Sure, someday. I do want to get I do want to get a drone, right? Like a Cypher. But like
just to see around the perimeter.
Yeah, I want to get a drone, and just anytime I want, I can just open a window, and I can just check out perimeter shit.
Out, just check. Yeah.
So you make a wrong turn down the dead end, Bags Avenue where I live at, right?
You're getting monitored.
Yeah, a drone will just follow you.
Yeah.
Until you leave the block.
Wow.
Catch your license plate. And all
that. Yeah. Oh shit. Okay.
You make one wrong turn, and the Don knows you now. Gonna run your plates.
Hopefully, one day you don't get to know the Don.
Yeah. If you know the Don, hopefully it's as a friend.
Right.
Do not.
That's the only real safe way that exists.
Enter as a friend. Do not enter as a foe, or you will be. You will be smit.
I like those. Smoked. I like those signs. It says, "Forget the dog. Beware of owner."
Yeah.
Right? For years since like the 60s, 70s, whatever. Millions and millions of bajillions and Googles and these. Beware of dog.
Yeah.
Beware of dog.
Since the Cuban,
be careful. The owner might be home.
Since the Cuban Missile Crisis,
right?
There's been many bewares of dogs.
Oh boy. So,
you know what?
I'm trying to think what else Liquid says. I mean, he talks about. I think we talked about this briefly in episode 2.
Yeah.
He talks about Richard Dawkins' theory and the book he wrote, The Selfish Gene. He talks about that and asymmetry and genetically, why family doesn't mate with each other because it doesn't want to cross similar genes. Wants different genes.
It's true.
He makes a couple really neat things that are altruistic, mutual altruism. He covers a lot of that stuff. It's neat what he's talking about.
One hand washes the other. You help me, I help you. Takes a village to raise a child.
Now he mentioned a couple other points which I just don't remember right now that I thought were important. I just can't remember it. Ultimately, he sets a timer for Merrell. at the end of his, unless you can think of something else he says.
Oh yeah, well it is true that in nature, it seems like almost all creatures, they understand asymmetrical genes.
Yeah.
There are wolves who will travel hundreds or thousands of miles.
Oh, to get away from their genetic pool.
They get away from there just to mate with somebody else, just to diversify the genes.
Yeah.
And it's also true with humans that when you see people who look exotic from you, like we're just, I'm like a pasty Irish dude, but if they want to see like a hot black chick, right? So for me, that's like...
That's your genes telling you that's who you want to reproduce with. And just different genes mixing with each other. That's like ultimately what the genes want.
Like I might see a cute little Irish redhead and be like, oh yeah, she's nice. But my genes are telling me hook up with the black chick because we have diverse genes. We understand. We on an instinctual level, both her and I know that if we mate, we're going to strengthen the human gene pool.
Shit, America must have the strongest genes in the world.
Right?
Think about it, really.
It's true.
We got like the strongest, most powerful, healthiest. Everybody intermingles with everybody.
Everybody comes over.
It's neat.
And we're building, and we're,
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. The United States is responsible for 25% of the global GDP.
Oh, geez. And like in 50 years, we're going to be unstoppable genetically.
We're just hard workers. Like the Chinese are cool too, right? But they're all one thing. They're all there. I mean, you can't imagine.
Yeah, I mean, what happens there? Because eventually, I mean, people leave, foreigners come in, but like basically, let's just say, there's a lot of people there, but say like I was going to say Japan, but there's too many people there. Yeah. Let's say a smaller country where it's really just the where there's not necessarily a lot of foreigners per se, and their culture is just to stay with their own people. Some people's cultures are important that
way, like Norway and shit.
Right. So I mean, isn't that limiting the gene pool? Isn't that not what you're? Because technically, your neighbor's ancestors are yours. Like really, like everyone has ancestors. Yeah. Linked to every human being in the world. I have ancestors linked to the corn that made those chips. Literally. Yeah. Like it's my cousin. Like literally what cousin means, right?
Yeah, I think there's
so it must limit their people who do that. They're a people that keep doing that in a small like it limits your genes, and isn't that not what you want to do?
Yeah, it's gonna happen. I don't know.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Once you reach these big populations, I'm not sure if it, you know what I mean. Like if it does spread out far. So
there's too even within the same type of people. There's because the population's so high. There's just too big of a difference for it to be a problem.
I think so. I think it becomes where like, hey, we're the same people, but there's enough diversity within us.
Sure, of course, yeah. Where it's not a problem doing that because I'm I don't want people to think I'm saying something like it's great, but I wonder like genetically.
Yeah, I don't think the Kwisatz Haderach is going to come out of Norway. You know what I mean?
Right. Like I'm just trying to figure it out in my head. What would be what would be healthier for the genes? Like I don't know. I mean, there's over 1.6 billion people in China, or a little less
1.2, 1.3.
Yeah. Okay, it's less than 1.6. Like there's so much diversity. There's never going to be any because when you see someone that mates with a family member or genes that are really, 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 really close, like maybe a first or second cousin, that's pretty close. Yeah, you see a lot of medical problems. You see a lot of genetic problems that didn't mesh well. So that's. I wonder if you see that in cultures that usually stick with the same type people. I don't know. I'm not sure. It's a good question.
And the problem with humans, like most animals can breed with their siblings, and it's fine. Like dogs, it's okay. They're not.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a geneticist. Like, why is that okay with them and not?
Well, the thing is, they've just been so diverse throughout the span of their existence as races. Or as a species. Yeah. Us, we reached this point where there was only a few hundred humans on the planet. Like, we're all related to a handful of people. All 8 billion of us. There's just a few people we come from. And so we're already genetically...
We're already genetically...
We're like so entangled. We lost so much diversity.
I see what you're saying.
We lost so much diversity in the previous mass extinction event.
No, that makes sense. Sense.
We're already inbred is the thing. So when we literally, bang our sisters or whatever, what happens is the bad effects of it totally happen. Whereas other species that have been diversifying for hundreds of thousands, millions of years, they've diversified so well that
I guess like bacteria, like when I guess they don't have. I guess it's not a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then again, they don't like necessarily mate with other. They basically clone themselves.
Mitosis.
They just separate. Yeah, they make a clone of themselves. Yeah, right.
And then flora and fauna
right. So I don't know why I mentioned. I'm thinking of something that has a relatively. They can mate relatively quickly after birth or after cracking through an egg or whatever their system is.
Yeah.
Like dogs, it's like, 7 years per se. Like they've been bred a certain way because it's easy to do that, and you can just within like a couple hundred years, you can drastically change. Not even 100 years. Well, let's say 200 years of a family or a organization consistently trying to make this change or trying to have a certain type of breed with these two or three types of dogs, and they're trying to make something that maybe runs faster or is able to get sheep better or smarter or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It does, and things that like I think flies, you can do this experiment and change them so fast.
Oh yeah,
manipulate that really, 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 really quickly.
Their gestation cycles are so fast.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
What was I?
And the thing to that is
I forget.
That kind of thing doesn't always backfire.
Right.
There are instances where, as long as those dominant genes take over, and the recessive genes are just, they lose out. You can create powerful people out of, let me give you this example. Look at the NFL.
Yeah.
Right? In our modern day, it's all big ass black dudes that they're trucks. You know what I mean? They're huge.
Yeah.
Right? You don't really see those kinds of dudes like in Africa for that much. But because, blacks were enslaved in America, brought over and selectively bred for certain traits. He's huge.
Oh, I see what you mean. That a particular trait is purposely encouraged and maybe this person who's this physical capability, or these two people that are really, really, really smart, or these two sprinters, if they have kids, that's going to encourage those genes, right? Yep. Kind of like in Metal Gear, the soldier genes. That's going to encourage that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
And if you keep doing that, that's why that's why black folk dominate every sport. Is because for so many...
Is that really what it is?
Well, because
400 years ago when they were...
Yeah. The slave trade, it started
Jesus,
where they're like...
That's wild.
Where they're like, all right, we don't want, skinny dudes that can't do shit. You know what I
mean? I guess people, people who did that whole thing just wanted people who physically can do work.
Yeah. Yeah, they selected, all right, he's built. He can do it. So they purposely selected built people.
That makes sense.
Brought them over. And then
right, they didn't bring over anyone that they thought was weak or sick looking. Right, I mean,
they did that from the start. As they selected what they thought were good stock, and then they said, "Hey, well, let's breed them together." Yeah. Okay, if she's huge and he's huge, and they're both like
but they would also have to breed with women who were kind of like that. It wouldn't really work unless you breed with someone who Yeah. I mean, those genes would get passed over, but only approximately half would.
Yeah.
You're taking a kind of a chance. It's better when both have that kind of.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they thought about that. They probably did because people have been doing that technique with dogs and plants for a long time ago. I
think if you took the most biggest brolic fucking dude and you just say, all right, knock up every chick on the plantation. I think you know what I mean. You're gonna have the highest chance of just strong dudes and chicks,
right,
in the next generation,
right. And there's a better chance of those genes that will be passed on. Interesting.
And you keep doing that, and all of a sudden,
I'm just trying to think.
White people only have hockey left.
What were we talking about?
Shit. Liquid. He was ranting about the selfish. Yeah, he was ranting, and now he's ready to scrap with Snake.
Okay, so they get into this fight, and the fight's pretty simple. It's not a really big area.
Yeah.
You're just physically, hand to hand with Liquid.
Yeah.
You do your standard Snake's punch. He has a combo punch, like sidekick, right?
Yeah.
So you do that. Eventually, Liquid gets a little harder where he moves out of the way really quick, and he
starts charging.
there's a point where he charges. You have to kind of just see the mechanics of it when you know the charge is coming. Move out of the way. You can flip him too. You can do that like you do with the Genome Soldiers when you're playing. You can also flip.
You can remember the basics of CQC.
The basics of CQC, right? Which Snake does CQC also. Yeah. They just never actually said those three. They never talked about it as fighting stuff. So the fight's not too bad. On harder mode, I remember being kind of goofy, kind of tough. But so eventually, Liquid tries to taunt you. He's like, at this height, even you will be killed.
Yeah.
So eventually, Liquid gets tossed.
Oh yeah.
He flies off the whole thing. It looks like he falls all the way to the ground. I don't know. It's like
assuming
you can't see. It's all dark. You can't see where if he caught on Metal Gear's leg or something.
Yeah. Assuming you beat him within 6 minutes.
Oh, because the timer for the bomb. Yeah.
So you knock him off, and now if we're talking about canon, what happened? So for the listeners' benefit, I think everybody listening to this knows that if you quit during the interrogation sequence, Merrell dies. She's dead.
Right. When Snake is being tortured with in the cell back and forth with Ocelot. Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's important to let people know. So
if you did that,
if you
walk up on Merrell, she's dead.
Right. If you gave in or just didn't give in but just lost at any point, you're gonna have Otacon toward the end of the game, which we're gonna talk about pretty soon. Yeah. You meet him when you climb down Metal Gear. You meet him there.
Yeah.
Now Snake gets Merrell, unties her, turns off the bomb or whatever. That probably just turns it off.
Yeah.
He picks her up. No. I think they're both sort of like climbing. You have to climb the Metal Gear all the way down this big robot. You climb down to the ground. Yeah. Eventually, she jumps off of like the last 10 feet. He catches her. She's like, we're about to go outside. It's really cold. You got to get a jacket. His sneaking suit is like right on the floor there somewhere. He's like, hey. My sneaking suit.
Yeah.
And she grabs a jacket.
She has like a puffy vest.
You're right. She gets a vest somewhere. I don't know where. Somebody left it laying around. I don't know where she gets it.
Like a life jacket or some shit.
So, they're running out of there. I think he calls Otacon right before they walk out of the facility. Out of that area anyway. Yeah. There's still this big sequence that comes up. I think Otacon calls me, says, I'm going to get out of here now. He said something like, because he did everything he could. He handled the security from there on in.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like the camera can still see you.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I don't know what the game meant by that.
And there's guards posted.
There's still guards and the camera still works. I don't know what he was talking about, security. Anyway.
Probably the door to get out.
Yeah. Doors will be unlocked whether you have your card or not. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. So I think that's the last time you talk to Otacon in the canon version. What actually happens? Yeah. As you walk out, you try to get keys to start the truck, but then this camera sees you. It alerts the guards that are nearby, and you don't have a gun. You have to fight them.
Yeah. You physically have to.
You beat them up or flip them a couple times. They'll knock you out. Whatever. Yeah. You get in the Jeep. Merrell's driving.
You're on the gun.
And Snake's on the gun. That's what's going on, right?
There's a big machine gun on this Jeep, and you're the guy shooting it.
Yep.
Unlimited ammo.
And before the next sequence with who, you're going through like two small little check. There's this gigantic tunnel.
Yeah.
That's like a mile long or something.
Yeah.
Longer.
It's so long. There's checkpoints. There's guards.
It's pretty long. Yeah. There's checkpoints, and you have to shoot through the guards.
The rest of the game is just shooting guards.
Shooting guards, right?
Yeah. And then Liquid chases you in a Jeep.
Eventually, Liquid is still alive. Bastard.
He's got one hand on the wheel,
and
the other hand has a fucking an IR-15 like something or a FAMAS.
I think it's a FAMAS. Yeah.
And he's just fucking beast mode, just driving. This is how I want to be. This is how I want to try.
He's like life. He goes right in a military Jeep with a FAMAS, shirtless.
Yeah,
it's just a way to do it.
Yeah.
He goes, not over yet, Snake. And then he says it again. It's not over yet. Right. So he's trying to kill him. You just basically have to be on him. It's kind of tough sometimes. He's moving to the side. He's moving real fast.
Swerving in a lane.
The more you're able to accurately hit him, it stops him for a second, and he's not able to shoot you. So it's pretty easy to get by.
Yep.
So you do this for like a minute and a half.
Yeah, you gun him down. I think they give you 10 or 11 minutes to get out of here.
Because of the strike.
Yeah. And
there's a nuclear strike, tactical, bunker buster type deal.
There's bombers and jets on their way,
and it's a nuke. So
and you know what? You do have a Kodak before this. You do talk to Jim Houseman.
Oh yeah, you do. I remember that. Yeah.
I can break it down. I think I can summarize it pretty well.
Yeah.
Jim Houseman calls you. Roy Campbell's been relieved of duty, right? Because Roy wants to confuse the chain of command, and he wants to send the jets and bombers back. He's like, I'll do that. That'll confuse them. Buy you a little time, because he's already like, I want to get you out of there. Jim Houseman gets on the horn. He's like, yeah, Roy Campbell's arrested. I'm taking active charge of this mission. Yeah. Like he's always had.
I think he's always had.
He's always had command of it.
Like he's had operational control, but Roy Campbell was the one giving the orders. Like supervisor.
He let Campbell run it. He's really the guy calling the shots. So the way he breaks it down is Snake, Liquid, the Genome Soldiers, what they did with Fox Die, and the experimental nuclear weapon. These are all dirty little secrets that essentially the Patriots that we don't know about yet, but
they're doing their
deep
thing.
state, the shady,
all the Snake Eater figures, all those important players,
all the shady side of the government at this point.
Yeah,
they've been doing all this stuff. They don't want to risk the START 3 treaty. They don't want to risk international incidents, censure by the United Nations. There's all this political stuff involved with all these different facets of just. Just black ops, secret dirty money,
all
research, all that.
I'm trying to think, what did he actually call Snake for? I forget why he wanted to talk to him. Because he called him on Campbell's Kodak. He took Campbell's Kodak.
I think it was on the horn. He really called the gloat, didn't he? He really just said, "Hey, man, we're gonna bomb you."
Yeah, there's no purpose of. I don't know why he would call the soldier. I don't know.
Yeah, and my favorite part of Jim Houseman is Roy Campbell's been arrested for. Espionage and crimes of high treason.
What he says? High treason.
High treason. He really.
he says it real high.
Yeah, he's like, oh well. Oh, and then he tells him. He's like, what's he say? Oh yeah, he feels.
I forget. Bad. I mean, I remember him talking to him. I just forget.
He feels bad about Ken Baker. He's like, oh, the Armstead president, Ken Baker. That was my friend. Him and the DARPA chief. They're my buds. Because they're all.
Which one did he say he was friend?
He was friends with Baker, and I think he was friends with Donald Anderson.
I think he said he was friends with Anderson. I kind of remember that. Did he also say Baker?
Oh yeah, you're right. It was Anderson.
I think it was Donald Anderson.
I think they're all blowing each other.
Look. They're all in bed doing different shady deals, and
they're all at that fucking.
What they're all doing? Bribes.
We're all doing bribes. What's that place out in California? The frickin'. The Alex Jones footage of them all worshiping Moloch.
I don't know. What is that again? Remind me.
There's this footage from like 20 years ago in real life on YouTube. Alex Jones gets footage of like basically all the America's presidents and senators. They all get together once every couple years, and they do these ritual sacrifices of like bullshit symbols and to gods or whatever.
What?
Never heard of this?
No. All the presidents get together and sacrifice things to gods.
You ever hear the Bohemian?
I'm dead serious. Grove? I never heard. No.
Okay, it's a real thing that Alex Jones kind of stumbled upon. It's
hold on a minute. Is there video or pictures of this?
There is. It's all like
the presidents get together and sacrifice things to gods.
It's all like idolatry, though. They don't like sacrifice real people.
No, not like
they just but they do this. Well, I'll show you after the pod. They do all this.
So they think there's like a bunch of polyistic different gods floating around.
The way they explain it,
they must appease them.
It's an old like Skull and Bones club ritual, and it's just this goofy thing that they do. They're like, hey, this is just our little.
Is it only old presidents?
It's like dudes.
Old senators.
It's
maybe?
Like old white dudes 50 and up. Everybody in power goes to this thing.
I never heard of this. I'm gonna have to check it out.
This is
this is on another weird level.
You're the guy. Remember this story? You're the guy that always finds shit out last, like the news or whatever. Yeah, I swear.
What the hell?
Bohemian Grove.
Jesus.
Bohemian Grove is literally the footage is from like '02 or so.
I never heard.
It might be pre.
This is every 10 years?
I think every couple. It's on every year, every 2, 3, 5 years. They all get together and they have this.
This sounds too weird to me. Like I believe what you're telling me, but it doesn't sound like it's real.
It doesn't.
I don't think they really do this.
It's really,
I'd have to really see some video
really
of this.
And they've
that is the weirdest shit.
They've acknowledged it. They're like, yeah, dude, we just it's just goofy stuff we do to have fun. It's kind of an old college thing to them.
You know, there's some traditions that really aren't worth keeping. Like, did anyone ever think like, okay, they did this in the 50s. 60s. Yeah. Why are we getting together to sacrifice anything?
But this is
like, what's the? Can we just like?
Yeah.
What the hell, guys? Can we go golfing or something?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
You would think, right?
Can we go to like the country club and just hang out?
That's the cool part. The wives aren't allowed. It's kind of a dudes only thing.
Oh, so it's a sexist thing too. Son of a bitch.
It's just,
anywhere you say where women really aren't allowed, it's
really just the boy.
That's so weird. I'm gonna have to look at. I don't want to talk too much shit on it. It just sounds weird on its head.
Yeah.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, let's not talk too much. This will,
right.
This will turn to a snuff film.
Right. I mean, I'm not saying if it's good or bad. I don't know anything about it.
A couple of guys in suits are
I never even heard about this.
A couple of guys in suits are gonna walk right into Mother Base here and fucking pop us. Someone else is gonna have to.
Yeah, but you got your defenses on Mother Base up pretty good.
That's true. I got a baseball bat downstairs and an angry woman.
Yeah, one of those old-fashioned wooden ones. It's good to go.
Yeah.
But
all right. So that basically, here's the thing. Jim, I almost called him Hightower. Jim Houseman, Ken Baker, Donald Anderson. These are all the guys that run the country. So, that's why Jim Houseman's like, Donald was my friend. No way.
So he only just called him just to taunt him.
He does it. Oh, also, you know what? Here's the real reason.
When did he find out? When did Snake find out that the nukes were called off?
Right to Liquid dies.
Okay, all right. So we're
Campbell calls him.
We're driving up to the end of this sequence here.
Oh, but hang on. Let me.
Yeah.
So, Jim Houseman, he says, "Listen, I would consider shaving you if you have all the data from the Metal Gear Rex exercise, the optical disc."
He really wants that.
Yeah,
That's
key.
important information.
That's basically the Snake Eater philosopher's legacy. It's the same thing.
Wait a minute. Yeah, but
it's the MacGuffin.
Isn't it?
It's the object they want.
Hold on. There's a little part of the story I'm just confused about. There's no actual real data because they never actually did a launch, even with a dummy nuke or a real nuke. They didn't do any. Even with the dummy nuke, they didn't do it.
It's true. They only have
it's the supercomputer the virtual simulation.
It's a simulated exercise data. Yeah.
But that's important for a lot of reasons. But Galukovich, the one who offered to buy the whole system, he said I'm not convinced until I see real world data.
Oh yeah.
Why would Houseman? Why would Jim want the supercomputer data so bad? Well, I guess he could do a lot with it, but
the thing is, so basically, without it, the entire Rex operation, there's no information about it.
Oh, so he doesn't have any information prior to that. This is the only thing that anyone can have is this virtual supercomputer.
Yeah, I'm sure there's maybe some other data floating around, but this is this is the
interesting.
This is the golden case in Pulp Fiction opening up, and
wow,
this is the thing we need, right? And so it's the funniest scene because he asks him, he says, if you have the optical disc for the exercise data, maybe we can talk, right? And Snake's like, yeah, I don't have it.
Yeah, and he doesn't.
And Jim Houseman says, oh well then.
Oh well, another disappointment.
See you in hell.
Yeah,
it's so funny how dismissive he is. He's like, oh well then,
because he's so sure it doesn't matter. He's got it in the bag.
Yeah, he's like, that's fine then, because he wants the thing. Whether he's willing to take it off the Snake.
It's such a weird thing. He's such a. I mean, I understand he had operational control, but he's such a small character. Such a a nobody in the story. You never really hear from him again. Ever.
He's a puppet of the Patriots.
He's just that codec was. I don't know. It was a weird. Might even have the codec.
He's a nameless, faceless, just manager. Right. Of the Patriots, just running shit, middle management, He's but yeah, he wants that data.
That's right before they even leave before they even get in the Jeep, right?
I think
Okay.
Yeah, this is a conversation they had before the Jeep, and then that's when they realize, we gotta get the fuck out of here.
Right.
So they're in the Jeep. They get to the end of the Jeep. They get to the end of the bulkhead, the tunnel.
Yep. And then, boom.
Yeah, Dave crashes.
Merrell
crashes the whip.
Yep. Yeah, Merrell crashes, right.
Yeah.
It actually flips over. They get...
They're
I don't
stuck.
know if they get tossed. I think they're underneath it, and they just kind of crawl out of it. They're okay, ultimately,
They're
right?
trying to crawl out.
Right. And they're trying to crawl out.
That's when Liquid pulls up, hops out. He goes, Snake!
It's not over yet.
Yeah.
He keeps saying that.
And so
he's right.
Yeah.
It's not over yet.
He's on his way to kill him, and then all of a sudden, Fox Die pops him.
Yeah. You see something about his genes where it lingered in his system.
You know what it is? It affects older people faster.
There you go.
They mentioned that.
Interesting. So eventually, it looks like he's just being like. It sort of looks like heart attack, or looks like he's being strangled, that kind of thing. So he's about to say Fox Die because he knew who it was, but he ended up saying Fox, and Snake finished up the virus.
He says die.
Right. And Liquid, and that is officially the end of Liquid in the story. That's it.
Liquid's beat.
Yeah.
For now.
He's done. Finally.
Dave and Merrell get up.
Right. You know, real quick.
Yeah.
with a couple people over the years, I know this isn't canon, but before internet was really real popular, before we talked to anyone who knew anything about what was canon, what wasn't, whatever, we always had a weird theory because it doesn't. The other ones, Anderson and Baker, it looks like they're having a heart attack. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
When Liquid is ready to get you with the FAMAS, it looks like he's being strangled. He goes like this.
Oh.
So when he said Fox, and I talked to people earlier on, when I was younger, they're like, could it have been Gray Fox in the stealth suit?
Yeah.
Because he said Fox, right?
Yeah.
And then Snake says die.
That's funny.
I don't know. I didn't actually think that's necessarily what happened, but I remember talking about that to a few people.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, was it Fox? Because Liquid didn't say Fox died. Liquid just said Fox.
Yeah, that's true.
Just interesting. It's just a little tidbit.
That is a thing.
Right. Not that I'm, again, just to clarify, I'm not saying that's what, just we as a kid, we always talked about that.
Yeah.
Because you didn't say Fox died. You said Fox, and his death looked different. And we're like, well, maybe it was his last, it was Jaeger's last thing in his stealth suit, whatever.
I get what it's sort of like in the new Dune, where they think that Dr. Yui's wife is the spider crawling around. You ever hear that?
What?
In the new Dune movie, in Dune 2021.
I've seen it a few times, yeah.
You've seen it a few times?
Yeah. One time was with you.
Yeah. That was
in the theaters when it came out, yeah. IMAX.
Yeah. Remember the black spider crawling thing? The Baron's pet?
Oh, that thing. Yeah. Right. Sure.
So
you only see it one time in the movie. Yeah, I remember it now. Yeah.
There's this funny thing where people who don't really know Dune, their idea is that because it's a stupid thing to just put together, and they're like, hey,
they think it's who?
People think. Remember Dr. Yui?
His wife. Oh, because
they
kidnapped his wife and said, yeah, right.
Yeah, and they're using her wife. So
why would they think it's
because some people just never read the book.
That's just like a pet thing.
Yeah, some people never read the book, and they're just like, what if he captured her, turned her into the thing?
That doesn't make any sense. That's the most random shit.
Yeah.
It's a pet alien spider looking thing. Why would anyone associate a human being?
It's just a thing that people put two and two together. Oh, maybe it's genetically modified. It's like a dumb thing.
That doesn't make any sense. I don't get it.
I think the Fox Die thing...
I don't even get what they're...
I think the Fox Die thing makes more... It's an intentionally dumb idea. Where it's like anyone...
I just don't know. So I just don't get how someone makes that association at all.
I don't think anyone ever actually came up
Yui's
with it.
wife. I don't get it.
I think people that like Dune came up with that as an idea of a stupid idea that people would have about the film.
Maybe.
I don't think anyone actually ever put that together. Maybe, you know what?
I don't know.
I think it might have been based on a tweet. Someone said it.
Goddamn tweets.
Isn't that funny?
What are they doing to this world, dude?
Oh, goddamn tweets.
Where are we at? Liquid's dead for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not.
Might have been Gray Fox.
Right, might have been Gray Fox.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
He helps Merrell up, I think.
They help Merrell up.
Yep.
He gets a call from Campbell.
The last call.
Yeah.
Saying that, I was able to cancel the
order.
Yep.
The president wasn't in on the loop, is what's happening. Remember, Jim Houseman talks about plausible deniability and doing all this shit on your own. The president doesn't need to hear about it.
Because if he doesn't know about it, he couldn't have done anything to stop it because he doesn't know about it.
He isn't liable for this. Oh yeah, all this government cover-up stuff. Got to keep the president out of it. President finds out about it thanks to Roy Campbell or somebody else. President says, Jim Houseman, get the fuck out of get the fuck out of my office. Jeez. And just says, hey, yeah, Roy, you're back in charge. Like, clean it up. Everything looks cool, hunky dory. President's a good guy, right? We're gonna call the thing back. You're good. Officially, you died when your Jeep crashed.
Yeah. They went down in the water because if you went over that hill, there's water. Yeah, that's what Campbell said.
They fabricate a neat story so that Snake can just kind of fall off the grid with Merrell and just everything's all good.
Because in the second one, like in the beginning of the game, this isn't giving away much. It's been out for a while. In the beginning of the game, everyone thinks this Snake guy has been dead for years. Yeah, right. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Wait.
Remember in the beginning of the second one, there's like at the end of the tanker incident. Yeah, they take one of those drones takes a picture of him.
Cypher.
Yeah, and they take a picture of him, and he's in like some publication, and they're like, "Oh, the terrorist Solid Snake looks like he didn't die in Shadow." You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, they use him as a scapegoat.
Right. So here comes like it's just. Colonel also says, this is kind of important. He says, by the way, Snake, on satellite, Mei Ling found a snowmobile real close to your location, tucked away in this little cave, whatever. So before they have an interesting conversation on there before they, drive away in the sunset, classic move, or sunrise, whatever it is. Not really sure. As they're walking, it's this whole sequence of them walking toward that. Yeah. And it's Naomi isn't talking to them on codec, but there's a narration of her talking all about genes to Snake and kind of again why she got into it. Yeah. Well, I got into this because I wanted to know who I was, what my story was, who my parents were. Yeah. And she's just like, Snake, don't be, genes, and this is like real, genes ultimately only govern your potential strengths / weaknesses, right? Mm-hmm. They only govern your potential destiny, right? You don't want to be ruled by what your genes tell you are, right? And Snake's the proof in the pudding, dude. Yeah. He has the recessive genes, but look what he was able to do.
Yeah, he breaks out of the mold.
Right. Yeah. So she's saying that what she's saying is I later learned that I was just focused and laser obsessed, even before this whole revenge thing with her brother, with getting into genes, just so she can understand who she was. But she realized that didn't help at all. That didn't make me. That didn't really do what I wanted it to do. You just have to live your life of who you are now, not what your genes are, right?
Yeah, her journey of self-discovery and of finding who she was.
Yeah, that's important.
It didn't end with just mapping out her genome. It ended with it's a never-ending kind of journey of just self-discovery and just living life and just, you know what I mean? Just
don't be whatever your genes are, whether their strengths or weaknesses are. Don't be ruled by them. Don't live by them, right? At all. Yeah. Don't have like these rules. Yeah. That's silly.
Yeah. She says don't.
You're just limiting yourself and That's not a good road. Don't do that.
Yeah. So Dave and Merrell come out of the.
They find the snowmobile.
Yep, they come out,
walk it out a little bit, right?
Yeah, and I think they decide to just live their lives. They're like,
ultimately, this is what this conversation with them. She's like, well, what do
It's something to the effect of like,
okay, I'm just thinking of what she first is talking about. Before that, he's like, I'm just gonna live life now. Yeah. And she's like, will you find what you're looking for? Or she says, will you find it? And he says, I know I'll find it. Right. Yeah, so he's convinced to not be. He's convinced that he's going to do what he thinks is right in his life, right? Yeah. What makes sense to him. Mm-hmm. He's convinced he's going to do that. He doesn't have to really work on it. He's got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a moment where he says, "Let's enjoy life." All right.
Yeah, up until now, I've only really lived for myself.
Yeah.
He's like, it'd be nice to live for something else or somebody else.
Yeah.
And he's like, someone like you.
Yeah. You really point to.
Yeah. You know, there's a couple little.
It's very cheesy.
There's a couple things here that I'm forgetting that I think are important, but I just don't remember.
That's about it. I just remember the line.
Don't remember the whole conversation. It's a really good one, though.
I just remember this one line of him, like it seems like it hits him all of a sudden. Hey, let's enjoy life. And it's just so weird. And she's like,
hey, let's enjoy life.
They become, like a scene out of the Stepford Wives all of a sudden. They just, hey, let's have a good time. You know what I mean? Like they just got
switch.
They just got done all this craziness, and they're just like
survive this absolute worst possible, most dangerous situation ever. Not just for them, but for the entire world.
Yeah.
What if he wasn't able to stop this whole thing?
Yeah.
You imagine? Oh Christ!
It's such a relief of like, and that's kind of how life works too. Is like when you go through a lot of craziness,
extreme situations make you kind of give a second look to what's going on.
Yeah, like a brush with death or whatever it is. You suddenly come out of it and you're like, it's time to just be a person. Just live like a human. Just stop being such a fucking whatever it is, whatever.
Zombie, robot,
whatever
terms you want.
Whatever your shitty routine is that you're not too comfortable with. You're like, you know what? Because people are obsessed with this idea or that or this way to live, and some people just don't stop and just be a human and just live life like a normal weak.
Oh sure,
just person that just wants to chill. And I think that's what they do. They just decide, you know what? We've been doing all this goofy shit for the last 24 hours. Let's just chill. Let's just live a life.
Let's just live life. Yeah, he's like, up until now, I've only lived for myself.
Yeah.
And she says, what are those? And he goes,
caribou.
Those are caribou. He's like, he's like,
it's mating.
They're able to cross now because.
Oh yeah.
Something about maybe something. I mean, sometimes when ice melts, certain things open up. Yeah. Or whatever. He's like, it's springtime. Springtime brings new life. For everything here and everything on the planet, basically. Yeah. Oh, and also two other things I just thought of. This is the first time in the game you learn Snake's first name. Yeah, which is she's like, what's your name? My name's David.
She calls him Snake. She's like, Snake, where do you want to go next? He's like,
oh right, she calls him that, and he wanted to tell her.
He's like, he's like, David, my name's David.
Right.
He's like a really nice.
David. My name's David. When he's with Otacon, that's not canon. Yeah. He goes, it's David. My name's David Otacon. Yeah. Also, for your second gameplay, your second run-through is more interesting after this because not only do you get, if you beat the game with Merrell, she survives, which is canon, you get a bandana, which your next gameplay is infinite ammo, which is really friggin' helpful. It's just fun.
Yeah. It's run through, gun everything down.
You also get the camera, regardless, I think, and the tuxedo, right? Special key items, or is the tuxedo after like hard mode or something?
You know what it is? On your first playthrough, let's say you do Merrell, you get the bandana and the camera.
Get the bandana and the camera.
Now let's say you run through it with Otacon.
Yeah.
You get the stealth and the camera.
That's a pretty good item.
Stealth's great.
Well, if you do it with both, you have access to both. You have to beat the game twice, though, to have access to it.
If you do that on your third playthrough, you get the tuxedo.
Where the tuxedo is? Okay.
Yeah, you got to beat both. And it might be a difficulty thing involved, but
maybe, yeah. So basically, if you can play the game with infinite ammo with your bandana, with stealth camo, nobody sees you, nobody hears you, nothing, and you could do it all in a tuxedo. That's pretty cool. I think you still have your bandana with a tuxedo.
Yeah.
I think you do. Yeah,
I think the tuxedo just replaces the sneaking suit. It's not.
Yeah, you still have you still have the bandana, which is fun. So, and then they go off into the sunset. The director puts in a small little paragraph, just showing the players real world information, not about the game, just about the nuclear, the start 1, the start 2, real brief little thing.
Oh, yeah, they mentioned that. Yeah,
how many nukes there were and how many nukes there's supposed to be projected.
Yeah,
how many and present how many nukes there are now.
Yeah, I think
so. That's a pretty important, real important real world thing he was trying to teach people about.
I believe it's as of 1998. There are still 25,000 nuclear weapons present.
He's like, when this game is published, right, yeah. right.
But yeah, they mentioned how there's other Star treaties that haven't the requirements haven't been fulfilled by either the U.S. or Russia. I think
in the I might be wrong about this. I think in one or two of the treaties, if not both, there's a specification for in the future there's supposed to be less and less.
Yeah,
certain amount, whatever. Yeah. So after that,
they're supposed to wind down, and they really haven't.
Right. So after that, you see the it's really, really beautiful. You first you hear that song we were talking about in episode 1.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, as of the publication of this podcast, there are just a handful on either side now. I mean, it's considerably.
You talking about the whole planet number?
It's considerably a lot less between the U.S. and Russia. I think there's
how many?
I think there's about 10,000 total. We have a few thousand less
currently, approximately. Yeah. Okay,
but we've made great strides. Obama put the new START treaty in. That's a whole new thing between.
I
forget if it was him and Medvedev, but
I'll never forget that scene from. I forget the guy. The other one's actual name. Yeah. In Superman 3, he's like, "Well, I'm here for peace, justice, and the American way, and also." I'm going to be collecting all your nukes, and I'm going to wrap them up in a big old bow and throw them to the sun.
Oh, yeah, Superman does that, right?
This is the coolest thing, dude. We really, we could use him just for 1 week.
When did Superman 3 come out?
It was during a time where this was talked about a lot. That's why it was in the movie, right? I forget the year.
It was probably...
There's 4 of them that Reeve did.
It probably came out during the Reagan era.
Probably around that time, yeah. We could always... Google it real quick, but
Reagan was a big nut about nuclear disarmament. He wanted him and Gorbachev to go down to 0. And he mentioned once, he said, "Hey, if aliens come and shoot us up, it's going to be you and me versus them. Like we're going to stop being rivals right away."
Right. Oh, immediately that would stop to fight the
Yeah. Not a lot of liberals love Reagan, but You gotta give him his cuts.
He legitimately really tried to get them down to practically he probably knew it wouldn't be, but the closest number 20 you can get.
Yeah,
whatever he could achieve at the time.
Yeah, he as a president said this. He said, "Let's get to 0." No other president said that before. No one ever. It's never been a thing. It's kind of pie in the sky. It's something you would expect an actor to say, not knowing that kind of nukes are a bit of a double-edged sword, and they kind of save our lives every day.
I think this third movie was that era, right?
Yeah.
So I think what they did was they just a lot of countries that were involved in it to begin with, they just fired them up in orbit, and Superman collect all of them in this gigantic net, huge.
Yeah.
And what he did is he spun them, he tossed them to the sun.
Yeah.
He tossed them fast enough where the sun's gravity is just going to catch it, grab it, and it's no way it's going back. It's done. Right.
That is the move. Just launch them all to the sun and just be done with it.
We could do that. I mean, literally, we wouldn't have to worry about them. You just have them on a trajectory course right to the sun. Eventually, the sun's going to pick it up and go on.
That really is the big lesson, at least of Metal Gear Solid, is Kojima through this cool fictional Tom Clancy-esque kind of film / game.
Right.
Kind of the message.
Big mix.
It's the last game or film with a positive message at the end.
Right.
It's still pre 9/11. Media changed after 9/11. It all became
9/11 was only 3 years after or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And media really changed in the way that everything had to be hard after that. It's stuff like 24 and the Patriot Act and fuck you, I'm doing it for America. I don't care if I'm bad. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't care if you become the bad guy in the process, Mm-hmm. But yeah, this was still a more optimistic and peaceful time, at least for America.
Yeah.
Where it was you see, it's you see an after school special, and then someone comes on at the end hey guys, bullying's a real thing.
What were they called again? Not promos. They were called what's the name of that? When you see someone famous come on and just say, "Hey kids, you want to help out?"
Public service announcement.
That's what I was looking for. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are great.
Yeah.
It's usually someone famous, so kids listen to them.
Yeah.
It's for adults too, by the way.
Yeah.
They make them,
Metal Gear Solid, it felt like a long episode of Captain Planet, I remember at the end of Captain Planet, they're
he's our hero, gonna bring pollution down to 0.
Yeah, it's very. I remember at the end, they would just be here's what we got. Hey, you had fun for the last half hour. here's what we got to do, kids.
Oh, then there was a real world thing.
Yeah,
just to teach kids,
just to tie it.
Oh, hey, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
Tell your teacher, whatever.
Yeah.
This is something you can do in your own home to
Yeah.
help. You see someone doing this, Yeah. Set them straight, whatever.
Yeah. And Kojima's just a sick bro. He's just like, look, guys, you got red nukes. We're gonna end all this progress we've made over the last 400,000 years as Homo sapiens.
Right.
Yeah.
I tell you, it's going to be that or like some super bug, some super virus. It's going to be one or the other.
Yeah.
My God, if we're not smart enough to get
I hope
over all this nonsense,
I hope it's the nukes because we'll live through that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it'll devastate the planet, but
it'll be really bad.
Yeah,
like,
it'll
like
be rough.
A nuclear winter kind of situation.
But it won't kill people. It will kill most people.
Yeah.
It won't eradicate the race.
Well, it's like the quote superbug. Like I'm not talking about like something that's like way beyond.
Yeah, something
COVID. It's something
engineered.
Well, maybe that could unfortunately end the same amount of people. Right.
Yeah.
So
maybe some sliver of the population survives it. Like all the, unfortunately, like all the preppers and hoarders out in the middle of the woods where they don't get to that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, like they win the game.
so I'm only thinking of 2 more parts for the end of MGS1.
Yeah.
Right where they drive off into the sunset.
Yeah.
The credits start rolling. With that beautiful song we were talking about, The Best Is Yet to Come. Yeah.
By What's-Her-Face.
It's one of my favorite songs of all history.
We're going to call her What's-Her-Face, the Irish chick.
Yeah, unfortunately, the one who sings it in Gaelic, I just keep forgetting how to pronounce her name. And
it is the best
It's really inappropriate.
song.
We keep talking about her. I should find out how to pronounce her name.
There are these great points throughout the game, like when Snake talks about...
There's like 5 or 6 points where they play the song during the entire game.
Like in the middle of a Kodak
It's usually a Kodak, yeah.
It'll come up.
Yeah, I remember counting them. I think it's like 5 or 6, including the beginning and the end. So
nice.
and right, it's always Kodak.
I remember when when Snake mentions the big boss was his father. That's one of them, right? Where it starts.
He's talking to Naomi.
Yeah. It was that, and there's another point. And I was like, God damn, this is the best fucking thing I've ever seen.
There's that other song called Enclosure. That's the Sniper Wolf death song.
Oh yeah.
That's during even after she dies. That's still during a couple like important, somewhat emotional, important information codecs, right? So as that song's playing, where the credits are rolling, you're also seeing actual. You're also seeing actual footage from Alaska.
Yeah.
Waterfalls, flora, fauna, which is just plants and animals. You're seeing like the forest. You're seeing all the natural stuff. You're seeing wolves. You're seeing caribou.
Yeah.
You're seeing birds that are indigenous. You're seeing all these things. It's real footage. It's not video game rendered footage. It's not CGI or anything. As the song's playing, as the credits are rolling, at the very, very end of it, it ties off with Revolver Ocelot making a very important phone call.
Yeah, the one-sided...
The one who he's like really working for,
yeah.
Whatever. He keeps saying, yes, sir. No, you don't hear the person talking. You just hear his answers.
Yeah, you only hear Ocelot. You don't hear the other guy.
Yeah, he's like, yes, sir. Nobody knew that this... Like, I see again, I just forget the real important... It's a pretty important thing to know.
He talks about keeping his identity secret.
Yeah, nobody knew. Nobody knew
who I was really working.
Nobody knew who I really was working for.
Yeah.
Right,
which is cool. This is my favorite part of Metal Gear Solid because
my true identity was intact. Something he says.
It gives us. It adds a whole different layer to Metal Gear Solid because it tells you that what you saw was not 100% the whole story. It wasn't. You didn't see the whole story from start to finish. You saw it. You saw some version of the truth.
Some version of it, yeah.
And
not
then,
all of it.
And then you didn't see Ocelot's whole story. You didn't see what he's been doing and who he's been working for.
No, and that's like a big part of it.
It's so good. And
what the hell else did he say there? It was like a minute and a half. It wasn't that long, but
he mentions I think he mentions like, hey, my cover's intact.
I'm about to bring that up.
He says I'm gonna keep doing my thing.
Yeah, but he mentioned something about DARPA chief, where he's like, nobody knew that this was really.
Yeah, he said, "Hey, he knew."
The fox die.
Yeah.
Oh man, I gotta
hang on before you play that. This is the song you're talking about, right?
Enclosure.
Oh yeah.
That's it. They play that also during a couple scenes of important like codex here and there.
Yeah, I think when Merrell shot, isn't that played also? And she's like, "Get out of here, Snake." Like,
yeah. You know,
God.
It's kind of emotional song, and he puts it in places that are appropriate in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I think we should both watch this. Ending codec. Here we go.
Oh, you got
it is a minute 30, huh?
Yeah. Oh, it is a minute and a half?
Yeah.
Just guess.
Actually, here we go.
The entire unit was wiped out. Those two are still alive. The Vector? Yes, sir. Fox die should become activated soon. Right on schedule. Yes, sir. I recovered all of Rex's dummy warhead data. No, sir. My cover is intact. Nobody knows who I really am. Yes, the DARPA chief knew my identity, but he's been disposed of. Yes, the inferior one was the winner after all.
Yeah.
That's right. Until the very end, Liquid thought he was the inferior one. Yes, sir, I agree completely. It takes a well-balanced individual such as yourself to rule the world. No, sir. No one knows that you were the third one, Solidus. What should I do about the woman? Yes, sir. I'll keep her under surveillance. Yes. Thank you. Goodbye, Mr. President.
The way they drop it on you like that.
Right. That's wild.
That's a good. I think that's a good. As long as the audio comes through, I think that's a good listen.
I hope that came through. I mean,
yeah.
From what I'm looking at here, it looks like it did, but I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I think it did. That usually from phone to these mics, that actually usually,
pretty good.
It comes through pretty good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. It's
So that was after the credits. That's the very last thing you experience of the game, right there.
Yeah. And I will tell you, the credits are like, a buddy of mine. He's like a big film enthusiast. He's not much of a gamer.
Mm-hmm.
I showed him those credits because I wanted to show him the whole thing, and he was really blown away. He was like, "Wow, this is like better than a movie." Like, because the game is this. It's a game, right? It's a video game.
It's a video game first and foremost.
Fight, shoot, kill, do all this shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's all right.
But it's not a regular video game. I mean, this is
Not by a long
the one of the more groundbreaking games in history.
Yeah.
Ever.
And then when you think, hey, I've seen a certain level of gravitas in this game, and it's really cool. All of a sudden, they show you the credits, and they show you just this raw, just this candid footage of nature. And it not only the game's already deep, and then it goes into a peaceful, spiritual area where you're just like, oh god damn, you just enjoy this. The best is yet to come.
It might reflect the emotional state of Merrell and Snake as they leave.
It's true.
That's kind of what that is. Everything's like.
Yeah, they started
different now. Yeah,
they started in peril, and now they're just like.
Yeah, Snake also says
cool.
on the thing ready to roll out. He says, "Maybe I'll find a new purpose in life."
Yeah,
he says that too. Yeah,
yeah, it's very cool.
Very cool.
You can really tell Kojima was like, "I'm done with this series. I want to end."
Yeah, like you said, it was going to be the third and final. It was going to be a trio.
Yeah,
right. Also, before we end it, whatever.
Sure.
When you do the non-canon one, if you give up in the torture chamber, and Merrell's dead, which is not canon, and you leave with Otacon, you meet him at the bottom of Metal Gear, and you walk out, you do the whole thing. He's driving, you're shooting, same thing.
Yeah.
The conversation's sort of kind of similar. Obviously, they change a couple things.
Yeah.
He says he makes a funny joke. His name's Snake's name is David.
Yeah.
Otacon, Emmerich, his name's Hal.
Yeah.
And he says, Hal and Dave, that's a good one. You know what he says to him? He says, maybe we should take a trip to Jupiter.
He says that.
Referencing 2001 Space Odyssey. So, Hal and Dave.
Yeah.
As a kid growing up, no idea.
Yeah.
Then I saw the movie, and then it just clicked right away, right? I didn't see the movie when I at that point. So
It's funny. That didn't dawn on me. Vince had to tell me that about half a year ago.
when did you see the movie, or did you see the movie?
I seen Space Odyssey a couple years ago.
What a wild film, dude!
Oh yeah,
Wild.
I didn't even see the whole thing, but I did see the Dave and Hal thing, and it didn't click then.
Well, I didn't even know. It didn't click at all. I didn't know what that was.
Just two dudes, two different movies.
Maybe we should take a trip to Jupiter.
Yeah.
Hal and Dave, that's a good one. What's funny about what's funny about that?
Oh, yeah, and then I forgot that, right? And
Right.
Then Vin just told me like basically it was heavy. Might as well have been the other day, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's a reference to that." Because we were talking about all of Kojima's references, like Kubrick and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, that's a Space Odyssey thing."
Right.
And I was like, "Oh, it makes sense because Dave's a dude and Hal's a machine and Hal's good at machines."
Sure, yeah. I mean, that's the only thing I can like. There's a couple things that they changed in the codec from him and Merrell, but it's the same thing. They both want to do something different. They survived an extreme mega situation.
Otacon's like
Sunset or sunrise. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, Otacon. Yeah, I think it's sun. Oh, it's sunrise, like because it's morning by the time that. Yeah.
I don't know how long
so.
in the story Snake's actually.
Oh, because here's the thing: when
doing his thing,
when he gets to Shadow Moses, it's nighttime, like it's dark outside.
Yeah, but okay, yeah. So every time you go outside,
oh, you know what the day,
even the communication towers, it's still night or dark at least, right?
You know what? You're right. There could have been a point where the day passed when he was being tortured and locked up, and then it became night again.
Yeah, I think he could have been there for like a while
because that butts up against the 18-hour deadline he had. So you're right. It could have been night.
Oh, you know what? Because the 18-hour deadline was right at the. Did they speed up those B-2 bombers or whatever they were? Like, was that 18 hours exactly at the end?
I don't know.
Or would they just speed that up? See, right? You don't really know.
There is this nebulous amount of time that passes.
Yeah, you don't know.
You know what though? It's plausible that they ate up the 18 hours because he got there at night. He went through at least a few hours of action, sneaking around, fucking around. And then he gets knocked out and he's in the torture cell for that's a big chunk of time. Like canon wise, that didn't happen in the space of an hour.
Maybe like in the story he was in the prison for just way longer than just 5 minutes in between.
Yeah.
Maybe he waited a whole day to
because he was not.
I don't know.
Because he was knocked out. He was brought to the cell. He came to. He was tortured and he's left alone. He's beat. Yeah, there is a good chunk of hours that could have been. And then by the time he got back out, it was night again. That could have happened. Wait, let me think. Let's say it started a bit.
Oh hell, I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna be able to just think about it because you really just don't know how much. It's nebulous. It's just unknown, right?
It probably passed in.
I mean, maybe somebody in an interview asked Hideo this at some point, and he answered it. Who knows? Hey, how much time was Snake, doing this thing since he swam up until he drove off? Well, right.
Let's say it was night. He comes in. Because then there's only a 6-hour difference between that night to the next day, right? So
in that part of the world at that time, I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, it's Alaska. They're funky with the thing.
Yeah, I don't know, and I don't know what season it is. That's a big deal too.
Yeah, because sometimes it's always night.
There's some times where it's always kind of day. Yeah. Well, depending on where you are and the tilt of the world up north.
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget what region it is, but sometimes the sun is just like this.
Yeah.
It's always there. There's no dark, and really, if you're not used to that, it really screws you up.
Yeah, Alaska.
You don't know when to sleep. You don't know how to sleep. It's like a problem.
Yeah, it's Alaska, and there's other points that are just brutal like that.
Yeah, depending on where up north and how much the tilt, depending on the season.
Yeah,
right. A lot of variables. I don't know what determine.
Yeah.
So, Sean.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to add to the ending of our?
I just think.
MGS1 podcast here.
Yeah. You know what? I think that, gosh darn it, the ending's beautiful. The story's beautiful. When you get to the ending of the credits, but before the Ocelot call, you get to that one line of Naomi, and the scene you're watching is sled dogs making a right turn around a bend.
Yeah, you do hear Naomi again.
Yeah.
Right before the end.
And she's like, Snake.
Right before that phone call.
Yeah, she's like, don't be rude. But this is really how the movie is supposed to end of MGS.
Yeah.
And then don't be ruled by your genes and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Just choose life and live.
Yeah. Just choose what kind of life you want. Yeah. And then live.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty much it. Yeah.
That was, to me, that was...
He's a musher.
Yeah.
I don't know if you mentioned that.
Oh, yeah. He messes with dogs.
Well, yeah, he mentions that to Merrell as they're leaving the commander's office, and they go through that little cave structure.
Yeah.
And she's like, are those wolves? He's like, I think they're mushing dogs. He's like, well, what do you do? He's like, well, you breed wolves and huskies because you want that combo. Yeah. And she's like, how do you know that? And he's like, I'm a musher. He mushes, that's what he does. Yeah. I can't think of anything off. I mean, this game for me, just personally, it's one of my favorite, not just franchises of all time, one of them, but it's just, and not just for PS1. I think it's just one of the greatest video games ever made. Yeah. Top 3 of all time. It really is.
It really is.
I've more I played it on an influential age, right? Yeah. I just have a lot of good positive memories about it, and not just because I've played the game so many times over the years. Mm-hmm. It's just that the game was that influential. Yeah. Not just to players, just in general, just the information you usually don't get in a video game. Yeah. It's just one of the best, and it's been fun podcasting about it. Yeah. It's been great.
I'll tell you, I mean, Metal Gear Solid is, like you said, it's just a cut above the rest.
Oh.
It's a game and it's a film.
Yeah.
And I mean, it really broke ground.
It's made like a crazy budget Hollywood production movie. Yeah. That's how it plays. That's how it feels.
And it was made on such a small budget.
Yeah, really small budget. Look what the genius of those. The director, all of the software engineers, everybody that went into this. It's like a smaller studio at the time, not like a real gigantic.
Yeah, a small team. Yeah. Like a team of about 15 people.
Yeah, and that just shows you quality over quantity every single time. Yeah,
Kojima wanted it that way. He liked having a small team. He knew what was going on.
Yeah. You're comfortable with your people. You know their abilities. You know that they actually care about the product they're trying to put out. Yeah. Look, and you're gonna get Metal Gear Solid 1. Yeah.
Yeah. He broke this ground for future games like Witcher. Every game with a great narrative. It was just. Yeah. It was like, hey, he did it first. He did it on the PlayStation. I can't think of any game that was that deep in a narrative. They told the story that way. Camera angles.
There still haven't been really a lot of games that is like this or similar to it.
You got Witcher. Then you
got there's a few.
Maybe you got like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, you mean like the flow of the story, or just
the attempt to tell a story.
Right. Way. Just how they the style of how they tell the story.
Yeah, and I think most games still don't reach that benchmark. Right. Because they don't treat it like a film; they just treat it like a game.
And you know what? I got to say, just for me personally, a big criteria to me. I mean, look, all these, you want everything to be good and really, really well polished and well done and well thought out and well engineered, right? You want all this stuff, the gameplay itself, the mechanics. I mean, you want it to be really, really, really fun. You're controlling this, you want it to look good, regardless of the style it's in, right? You want it to be really, really good quality graphically. I mean, you want it to look good. You want it to look real, right? Yeah. For games that have the style that are going for realism. Yeah. But to me personally, the most important by far, or I'm kind of not interested, unless it's just like a racing game or a sports game, stuff where there's no story, right? Yeah. Story for me is number one in games like that I'm playing. Oh, yeah. It's number one by far, by leaps and bounds. Yeah. If I don't really care about it, if I'm not invested of it, I'm just not really gonna have fun playing the game. It's just gonna be this thing I do on my spare time, or I might not even end up playing it because I don't like what's going on. Yeah. I don't know. That's kind of important to me.
I think definitely for gamers who aren't like big readers too. You know what I mean? Like you and me, we read here and there. But it's like it's the best. It's the next best thing to a book. You know what I mean? It's probably better than a book.
A lot of dialogue. Yeah. I mean, an incredible amount of dialogue, more than there's ever been up to that point. Anyway, ever. Yeah. Even years afterwards. Yeah. Really.
Yeah, there really is. Even games that model themselves after Metal Gear Solid and the storytelling and narrative, they still just don't do it to that level. It doesn't feel, I mean, that Tom Clancy feel of the game. Yeah. You come on.
Very, very unique, real groundbreaking. All the voice actors were absolutely, every time I see an interview with them or read an interview, they're absolutely floored. All their work before them have just been these little one-liners in cartoons, anime, video games, whatever they did, it was just yeah, they just I mean, I don't mean like the work was bad, but it was just these quick sentences, and they in this game they get like a whole, huge thick script for each one of them, right? Yeah. Big conversation, so I don't know, that being another big part of the story that I really appreciate the detail in. It's just the best.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else offhand I wanted to mention or think of or talk about. I think we kind of covered. I think we covered this game pretty damn well. I just want to say, like, obviously we didn't necessarily have notes or anything in front of us. We didn't have anything like that. Like, this was really just kind of just a fun conversation about the story, what goes on, the dynamics of the gameplay, just from our memory, and that's really what I used. Right. Yeah. That was it. I mean, what was super accurate, what wasn't. I mean, as far as I know, everything I thought of was.
Yeah, this is kind
of everything was accurate.
Yeah,
but
this is almost a first glance. I mean, I did some homework.
A little bit. Game. Yeah, I actually did it the other day, but just like briefly. I really just wanted to come in here, just having an honest discussion about what I could remember. That's kind of what I. Yeah.
It's right off the bat. This is a cursory and
it was fun to do that. It was great.
Isn't it cool?
Yeah, it was really cool.
This is like the definitive, like as far as the story of MGS1. This is just we just talked about it.
We just sat down, had a 8, 9, 10, like 12 hour.
What's it, 8?
Was it like 12-hour conversation?
Not as long as the game, about 11 hours.
Yeah. That's funny.
You could play the game and listen to this whole thing, this whole playlist.
Right.
And if you play it at a decent pace,
just keep it on in the background, kind of.
Yeah.
Except when codecs or cutscenes come up, whatever.
Yeah. And then by the time you're done the podcast, you're done the game. You're at the point. We've reached the point.
One last little tidbit. Yeah, we did discuss how importantly vital a lot of the codecs were. They were some of the more conversations in the whole game, for sure, right?
It's a low budget way to get that dialogue in.
Right. Like we talked about the real important ones, but the majority of the game is like the majority of the chunk of just the quote gameplay, just watching it or listening to it. It's the cutscenes. Right. Most of the information is a lot of the information is in the cutscenes. Yeah. And we talked about the important ones, but we didn't really. In between, there's so much dialogue. Right. Before you fight a boss, during a boss, and after a boss, you can call all your people on your codec, your radio. They all have a different frequency. Who is it? It's like there's a girl, Nastasha Romanenko. She's a weapons specialist, right? Yeah. There's Otacon, Merrell, Miller, Campbell, Mei-Ling, Naomi Hunter. Deep Throat. You can't really call Deep Throat, but he's technically one of them. Yeah. So all these, every time you get new gear, you can call. Every time there's a cutscene, you can call and they'll talk about it. That's an important aspect too. Yeah. Super, super detailed in all that stuff. It's a lot of information.
Easily half as much as the game. Like if the game's 10, 11 hours, easily there's like 5 hours of dialogue.
It's a lot.
Just
wow. The whole, even as a kid, I'm like, damn, I really appreciate this. This is so cool.
Yeah, there's so much. There's so much you can dig into.
Yeah.
It's like an album that fucking never stops playing. It just keeps new tracks over and over. Just there, Yeah, right. I remember just sitting outside, just calling Nastasha, like, tell me more about the nukes. So,
I called her when I just had a chaff grenade in my hand because I wanted to learn about it.
Yeah,
whatever. Night vision goggles, she'll talk about all of it.
I see you have a chaff grenade.
Yes, that's good.
So you want to jam electronics.
So thank you the staff that made the game, all the engineers.
Thank you
Konami. Thank you
Hideo.
Thank you, sir. And thank you for teaching me more about the importance of nukes, their role in the world, because I was just like learning about the world at the time, in general.
It's good
and now because of that, I purposely looked into it more because of that, and now I know more about the importance and the proliferation of it and all that stuff. So that's cool. Real world knowledge I got from it, right?
The thing you want to learn about right as you hit puberty is the fact that the world could be annihilated by nuclear weapons.
Oh, yeah. It's not a sci-fi story or nothing. Real talk.
It's a great thing to learn about right at that point in life.
Yeah. It's a legitimate threat, dude.
You can really, what's great is if you're hitting puberty, and so naturally you want to have sex with the first girl you see.
Right.
You can say, hey, the fucking world might end if the Russians get mad at us. So we should just do this now. It's not going to matter tomorrow.
It's not, look, I read that the Russians are, again, really pissed at something. So what do you say? What do you say?
Every time Vladimir Putin gets off his rocker, that should be the go-to pickup line. It's just... yeah.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah, we're at the end of MGS1, huh?
Yep. Finally finished it up.
Oh, yeah.
Man, what a...
Jammed through it pretty quick.
Quick. Yeah, we certainly didn't rush anything. Our style of how we just
or roundabout.
We really didn't rush at all.
Yeah,
and we felt like we got through it pretty quick in general. Yeah. It's like the same amount of game time of the actual game,
pretty much.
Whatever.
Yeah, I'll see. I can't wait to cover Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yeah, I was just gonna foreshadow that. Yeah, so.
What game do you think we're gonna cover next, guys?
You'll never guess.
I think that is the roadmap. Is Metal Gear Solids
2, 3, 4, and 5.
4, 5, yeah.
Right.
Peace Walker's a big one.
It is.
Yeah. We'll cover We'll cover the canon stuff.
The canon stuff. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That's this is like a milestone. Boom, we got one done.
Yeah.
I think the big goal is to cover the story, right?
That's the most important part.
Yeah.
I mean, to me it is.
Yeah, and then once we've discussed, hey, here's the story. Here's our journey through this game. I think after that, the cool part is we can dig into everything, history. You know what I mean? Just guns, just everything.
Is that how you're thinking of doing it?
I'm thinking it. Yeah, I think it all relates to like real life stuff. So it's like.
And just like what we did here, we're just giving our own personal, not just opinions, but experience with all this too.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like the personal. This is I feel like I want to bait you in, the listener, and just here's the story. Here's how we feel, and then after that we can like you said, there's like 50 million codecs that you never really hear.
Oh man, you know what I mean.
I'm gonna come in here.
I'd really like to say that I heard all of them, but I bet there's a couple like weird scenarios where I didn't call somebody, and probably one or two I probably didn't.
Well, here's what's gonna happen is I'm gonna hit the books. All right, I'm gonna pull up scripts, and there's sites that have all this information already written down,
right? And
just highlight and just take notes. And at some point, we're just gonna sit here and talk codec. We're just gonna sit here. Oh yeah, you know what Drebin says if you call him on a Tuesday at 8 a.m. And just boom.
He says, "What the hell are you doing? Yeah. Call later. I ain't got no guns for you."
I'm
restocking the Coca-Cola machine I have in my truck.
Yeah, I'm stocking
or whatever that is.
Yeah, I literally intend to skim every line of codec for good ones, for gems, and just be like, "Hey man, check that." I want to do a whole episode or a few episodes just on codecs. Just say, check that out. Check this out.
Of the whole franchise.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Not game. See, I like that. Right. Not game specific.
Yep.
Important parts of it.
Because once we've talked about the games, now it's like, hey, let's dig a little deeper. Let's dig into the codecs.
After we do a run through of all the games. Okay. I see what you're saying.
I think there's just endless...
Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Whatever. We could do Easter eggs through.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a free form thing. Like I can go. We can be talking about Snake Eater. I'm like, hey, dude, I saw this codec the other day, and too, it was pretty funny. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it's all free form. It's all. I want to have.
That's cool.
I want to have beaten Metal Gear Solid to death.
Right.
I want to exhaust every single fucking quote, everything. I want to just mine it for as much material as I can.
I like it.
I
like it.
Yeah, that's my current. I'm already sick of Metal Gear Solid, but I intend to press on throughout the next. I guess this will be years.
I mean, even to this day, like the last one that came out was 2015.
Yeah,
I'm playing it right now.
Yeah,
it's just too fun.
Yeah, it is good.
It's just too much fun. There's just too much to do. There's still stuff I haven't even upgraded yet, or Yeah. It's ongoing.
I'm gonna be a Metal Gear Solid scholar by the time this thing's over.
I wonder if that's like a thing anywhere. Yeah. Not for an individual, like a guild or a club or a or whatever, a house somewhere. You know what I mean? Look, the answer is there. I'm sure there is somewhere.
Yeah, I think eventually we're gonna get emails from the Patriots.com.
The Patriots gonna contact you,
And they're just a fan club.
And the more you know, kind of like the Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts,
Yeah.
whatever, you get like a badge.
Give 'em a
And
little,
if you know this, you get another badge, whatever,
I got a Claymore badge.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, I just explained. I just explained every codec with Nastasha. I got the weapons elite badge, whatever.
I feel like there is notoriety to be gained in what we're doing, right? Because we're sitting here, we're discussing Metal Gear. People love this game. It's a big thing. It's not. I don't know if it's a very. I don't know if the community is very vocal. There's a few Reddits out there. There's a few people that chat about this stuff. But I'd like to offer the public everything about Metal Gear. Just the be all end all. Discuss everything. All 9. You know what I mean? Just talk about it all. And then in return, I guess all the fans are like, hey, like it's a service to the community. It is. We love.
I think it is too. Yeah.
We love the game so much, and that we're just cataloging. Like,
I mean, it's fun to do this, but it is a service to the community.
Yeah, there isn't a massive project like this. I've looked around. There's people that do Metal Gear Solid podcast, and I hope the way you and I do it just brings something new to the table.
Something new, yeah,
You know
something fresh. Yeah.
Whether it's just us, whether it's like the length and depth of what we get into.
Obviously, something that's entertaining at a level, but not necessarily like it's not necessarily like something that's informative also.
Yeah.
So we all can I can learn from you from certain things. You'll learn from me from certain things I didn't think of. Vice versa.
Yeah, it's like we're learning together,
and maybe
and whoever
all the viewers listeners can also learn something and get something out of it. Yeah.
People work so many different like desk jobs, like programmers.
Yeah.
People that they don't have to have their ears on a phone all day.
They can just pop on. Yeah.
They can type, and then for the next 100 hours, Don and Manus talk about the fucking Metal Gear.
I told my cousin about it.
Yeah.
The one who was
the IT guy.
Well, there was two, the IT, the one who was at the cookout, the older one.
Who's the other guy? What's his Justin?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. This is Justin's the older, or Justin's the young one. Brandon's the older one. So I was telling him about it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's great." He's like, I'm on my. I just got off of work, driving home. He's like, got your podcast on, just listening to it. So yeah, it's just an audio thing where you don't need your ears necessarily. You could just whatever. People put on podcasts, whatever it is, especially like. They don't have to be lengthy ones. Like people just put on music or podcasts that don't need to have a visual thing. Yeah. They could be doing laundry, cleaning their dishes, whatever. Doing stuff in the garage. Like if I'm working on my car, whatever. Yeah. I could put that on and just relax with it.
That's the only reason.
Just breathe with it. Just let it be part of the day.
Yeah, that's the only reason I listen to podcasts, and that's what got me into starting podcasts.
Just entertaining.
It's the fact that I game a lot. I sit at a desk. I work on stuff a lot. And it's all just stuff I don't have to like be on the phone for. So I'm like,
you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, and you can get by a lot of them that way.
Yeah,
get caught up, whatever.
Throw me any cool podcast that's like 50, 100, 300 episodes deep. I'll start from podcast 1 and let it run, because I may skip some stuff or just fall asleep or whatever. Yeah, I'll eventually hear it all because I'm working on it. Like I'm half paying attention to it. Mm-hmm. It's a great medium.
Interesting.
We got your cousins. We should this summer. We should go down. We should hit like Wildwood or something. Go.
Oh, they got to come with us. Yeah. We got to get them on board.
Cause we're a strong duo. You know what I mean? We're Batman and Robin.
Oh yeah.
We get the whole crew down.
They're a lot of fun.
Oh,
I used to go down the shore with them.
Yeah.
A couple times. They're great. Yeah.
Taught some chickadees. Start slaying it. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, dude.
I'll tell you a couple stories of that later.
Yeah. Nice. That's what,
good fun stuff, dude.
Yeah, man. Yeah. We should. What's Dave's line? Let's enjoy life this summer.
Let's enjoy life this summer.
We're gonna ride off into the sunset on a jet ski and until 2 years later.
It'll be
at the Hudson River.
It'll be the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
Off the coast of New Jersey.
Yeah. That's where it's. Yeah, we pod from the. Yeah. The ocean had stank, but her nose has been out in the cold for so long.
2 years ago.
2 years ago at the Ocean City.
Mm. The Hudson River.
Yeah. There weren't enough.
Yeah, what does he say? Yeah, you're right.
There weren't enough single chicks my age. It was brutal.
Our noses have been out in the cold for too long. Yeah. But it was brutal.
That was a thing I wrote about being at Linden Ave and being like...
right on the Delaware, yeah.
Man... You know, it was about like trying to hook up with chicks. But like, man,
What a great parking spot.
oh yeah,
Not just with chicks, just in general. It's just a good, like, sunset, sunrise, just cool times to be there.
oh yeah.
Just neat.
Cops ride by it like
Yeah, even if you're just
10
by
or
yourself,
11.
you know.
It is.
Oh, well, yeah, well, you know what? That's not suspicious
Yeah.
to be there. There's so many people that park there. I mean, you're there with your girl, you know, whatever.
I
you know.
do love the, you know, there's this game called Earthbound for Super NES. And it's the
Earthbound. Sounds familiar. I can't think of what
like
it is.
It's
Or
like an RPG.
NES?
Yeah. Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
The point of it is you have to collect these 8 locations that are your places or whatever. And like it's kind of like going to the 8 worlds and wherever and beating the final boss. I remember as a kid, like I love places like Linden Ave that like you go hang out and hook up with chicks or hang out at, right? One of my places like that, like they call it, it's like a my sanctuary place. That's what it's called in the game. So I always have those real life equivalents.
Yeah.
I remember one place was sometimes I'd hang out with like you and Vin or whoever, and then if I was killing time or whatever it was, I would walk down to the Bully over by the Acme, and I would sit on the top of those steps. You know those steps that go up and across? Mm-hmm. That was kind of my place. Sometimes, I mean, I've spent my whole life. I've spent a few hours there, just chilling, listening to music. That's kind of a Linden Ave.
Yeah, I like when I find them spots where like I'm comfortable with and they're just chill.
Yeah, these little
Nobody bothers you.
Mother base.
Mother base. Yeah, we all need to find our own mother base.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to end it. We all need to find your own mother base.
That's the lesson.
Find, you know, like Snake, find your own purpose in life. Live, you know, just be happy in life and live life.
Don't be ruled by your genes.
No, yeah, for real. Don't be ruled by your genes. Yeah. I don't care what DNA test you take or what it says. That's cool to know and everything, but yeah,
I don't care.
Don't go by that. Just
I don't care who your baby daddy is.
Right.
Don't be ruled by.
Well,
well, guys,
thank you for being with us.
Thank you for tuning in
during our MSG1 journey here, our memory flashback here.
Yep,
that's what it was.
We're gonna tool up and come at you ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
Metal Gear Solid 2, I think is 2 comes after 1. Last time I checked.
Well, that's usually the social convention.
Yeah,
that's usually how it works.
Last time I made sure I had to go find out, and I think 2 was after 1. So I think
this isn't first grade math class.
This isn't. Yeah. We're gonna catch you at the Hudson River.
Oh man. Oh, these Snake references are just endless. I don't know. It's like muscle memory. I have no control over this anymore.
That's the
just comes out, especially with this podcast.
That's
the really
funnest
nuts.
part is doing the voices. Snake.
Yeah, you do a pretty good Jaeger there. I can't do that because there's a combination of like sort of yelling, straining, and like I don't know. It's weird. I can't do it. That's pretty good.
You can't do it.
Yeah. No good.
Magnum.
Oh boy.
The clash of bone
and sinew.
God, that's weird. All right.
All right, folks.
We'll let you guys go.
Until next time.
Yep.